Assalomu alaykum qadrli tinglovchilar. Xorijiy tilni o'qitishda madaniyatlar aro muloqotni shakllantirish fani doirasida navbatdagi mashg'ulotimizni boshlaymiz. Bugungi mavzuyimiz Dealing with Culture Clashes, Cultural Identity, Preserving Cultural Identity. Ya'ni bugun biz siz bilan madaniy jihatdan o'ziga xoslik haqida gaplashamiz. What is cultural identity? One's identity or self-concept is built on an individual's cultural, social, and personal identities. Cultural identity refers to one's sense of belonging to a particular culture or ethnic group. It is formed in a process that results from membership in a particular culture. It involves learning about and accepting the traditions, heritage, language, religion, ancestry, aesthetics, thinking patterns, and social structures of society. People internalize the beliefs, values, norms, and social practice of their culture and identify with that culture as part of their concept. Cultural identity. Social identity develops a consequence of membership in particular groups within one's culture. The characteristics and concerns common to members of such social groups shape the way individuals view their characteristics. The types of groups with which people identify can vary widely and might include perceived similarities due to their age, gender, work, religion, ideology, social class, place, for example, neighborhood, region, and nation, and also common interests. Examples: baseball players, ballet dancers, scientists, teachers, doctors, and so on. Personal identity refers to people's unique characteristics, which may differ from those of others in their cultural or social groups. For example, you may like cooking, singing, sewing, tennis, but not identify with those as social groups. The formation of cultural identity occurs in these three stages. The unexamined cultural identity stage involves a lack of interest in cultural issues as a result of taking one's own cultural characteristics for granted. Young children lack of awareness of cultural difference. Cultural identity of many European Americans have remained largely unexamined because of their perceived normalcy. We can say some characteristics of cultural identity, and cultural bias also should be discussed here: social categorizing, anti-ethnicism and stereotyping, prejudice, discrimination, and racism. Cultural bias, social categorizing. People impose a pattern on their world by organizing the stimuli into conceptual categories. Most people think that other people perceive, evaluate, and reason about the world in the same way that they do. Humans simplify the processing and organizing of information from the environment by identifying certain characteristics as belonging to certain categories of person and events. Cultural bias, ethnocentrism. What is ethnocentrism? Ethnocentrism occurs when the beliefs, values, and practice of one culture are viewed as superior to those of others. Stereotyping. What is stereotype? Stereotypes are a form of generalization about a group of people. Groups can be stereotypes based on their religion, age, occupation, social class, geographical location, and many other characteristics. Stereotypes can be inaccurate in two ways. when stereotypes are assumed to apply to members of a group category, resulting in a tendency to ignore difference among the individual members of social groups. Prejudice. What is prejudice? Prejudice refers to attitudes towards other people that are based on faulty and inflexible stereotypes. Prejudice is a universal psychological process. All people have a propensity for prejudice towards others who are unlike themselves. It serves an ego-defensive function by protecting a person's self-esteem. We maintain our self-esteem by scorning people who differ from us. It serves a knowledge function. Discrimination. What is discrimination? The term discrimination refers to behavioral manifestations of prejudice. It is prejudice and action. Discrimination occurs in many forms, from extremes of segregation and epithet bias in housing, for example, in employment, education, economic resource, personal safety, and legal protects. It is the unequal treatment of certain individuals because of their membership to a particular group. Racism. At the individual level, racism is conceptually very similar to prejudice. At the institutional level, racism is the exclusion of certain people from equal participation in the society's institutions solely because of their race. At the cultural level, racism denies the existence of the culture of a particular group and involves the rejection of culture's beliefs and values. Forms of racism vary in intensity and degree of expression. For example, old-fashioned racism is the most extreme form of racism. Symbolic racism, also called modern racism, occurs when members of a group with political and economic power believe that members of some other group threaten their traditional values. For example, Chinese are taking all our jobs. Identity, bias, context, and cultural competence are given here. Improving your cultural competence, describe your own cultural identity. Be sure to include both the positive and negative aspects. Take an honest inventory of the various ways in which you categorize other people and they categorize you. The ability to adapt to intercultural settings, to maintain positive, healthy relationship with people of cultures other than your own is the hallmark of the interculturally competent individual. Here are some discussion questions. I hope you will discuss it, and here you can share your ideas with us. If people are born into one culture but raised in another, to which culture or cultures do they belong? Next, why have so many nations and cultures assumed they were the most civilized, virtuous, or noble people on earth? Next question. Are there benefits to being ethnocentric? What are some of the stereotypes that people hold of your culture? How can we escape the ethnocentric tendency to use our own cultural categories to interpret other cultures? These are some discussion questions which should be discussed further. Bugungi mashg'ulotimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetdi. Xayr, salom bo'ling.